Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're new here, my name is Brian Craig, and I'm a conservative radio talk show host. I'm live in Morning Drive on a whole bunch of radio stations weekday mornings, and I also live stream here on my YouTube channel. All right. I read this story in the New York Times, and I felt compelled to go up here on YouTube Live and talk to you guys about this. I mean, this is just bizarre and disturbing, and I'd like to ask all of you to share this video on all of your social media, whatever you got, all right? This really needs to be heard. We're going to get into, of course, Ray Epps, and this is the New York Times. The New York Times did this story last week, July 13th, and, we've got all this January 6th kangaroo committee business going on with Liz Cheney and the crew that is just a disgusting, un-American type committee, and they want to get to the bottom of January 6th. And this name keeps coming up, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the New York Times decided that they wanted to do a human interest story defending Ray Epps. Look at this. Let me go through some of this. This is the New York Times. I'm not going to spend too much time in the New York Times, but just a little bit of this so you can get the gist of what they're doing. And this is just bizarre. A Trump backer's downfall as the target of a January 6th conspiracy theory. Ray Epps became the unwitting face of an attempt by pro-Trump forces to promote the baseless idea that the FBI was behind the attack on the Capitol. Now, remember, this article, this is July 13th, 2022 here. So, and look at this. In the Rocky Mountains, up a winding country road in a trailer park a half mile from a cattle ranch, lives a man whose life has been ruined by a January 6th conspiracy theory. They just put a 69-year-old grandmother in the federal penitentiary, and they're out there who was forced into the Capitol by the crowd. She had a herd of people behind her. It was either walk forward or be stomped to death. They put her in prison this week, and they're defending Ray Epps. Ray Epps has suffered. This is the New York Times. Ray Epps has suffered enormously in the past 10 months as right-wing media figures and Republican politicians have baselessly. I want to play some video of Epps here in a few minutes, but knows that New York Times, every other word is a defense of Ray Epps. You got to say why? Why are they defending Ray Epps? Have baselessly described him as a covert government agent who helped instigate the attack on the Capitol. Strangers have assailed him as a coward and a traitor, and have menacingly cautioned him to sleep with one eye open. He was forced to sell his business and his home in Arizona. Fearing for his safety and uncertain of his future, he and his wife moved into a mobile home in the foothills of the Rockies with all their belongings crammed into shipping containers in a high desert meadow a mile or two away. And for what? Lies! Mr. Epps asked the other day with a look of pained exhaustion. All of this? It's just been hell. Yeah, we'll tell that to Ashley Babbitt's widower. It's been hell for him, too. Almost from the moment that violent mob stormed the Capitol on January 6th, allies of Trump have sought to shift the blame for the attack away from the people who were in the pro-Trump crowd that day to any number of scapegoats. First, they pointed to Antifa, the leftist activists who have a history of clashing with Mr. Trump's backers, but did not show up when the Capitol was breached. Oh, really? Then who were the guys in all black? Then they tried to fault the FBI. Mr. Epps, 61, was not just a bystander. He traveled to Washington to back Trump, was taped urging people to go to the Capitol, and was there himself on the day of the assault. But through a series of events that twisted his role, he became the face of the conspiracy theory about the FBI as it spread from the fringes to the mainstream. Obscure right-wing media outlets like Revolver News use selectively edited videos and unfounded leaps of logic to paint him as a secret federal asset in charge of a breach team responsible for setting off the Capitol riot. And it goes on and on. Talk about Ted Cruz and others. It goes on and on. But I did tweet this, put this up on my Truth Social page. But I pulled this up because they talk about Revolver News, okay? Now, here's what they say about Revolver News. Obscure right-wing media outlets like Revolver News use selectively edited videos and unfound leaps of logic to paint him, Ray Epps, as a secret federal asset in charge of a breach team responsible for setting off the Capitol riot. So what I did after I read this article this morning, I went and pulled up the Revolver News article that the New York Times is trying to discount, right? And I thought I'd share it with you. So this is the Revolver News article, and this article, I'm going to play some video here, and you guys can decide who's right here. Revolver News or the New York Slimes, okay? Now, this is Revolver News, which pretty good news outlet. I don't go there every day, but I go there from time to time. They have interesting articles like this one. The hidden agenda behind the New York Times desperate puff piece on Ray Epps. No doubt about that. And then they have a little bit of the article that I was just sharing with you from the New York Times. And here he is. No Trump hat, of course. You may not recognize him. No MAGA hat on, no Trump hat on Ray Epps because he's no longer a Trump supporter. Now, let me ask you something here. You know, all these people that are former Trump supporters, can you, for the life of you, imagine any way that you would no longer support President Trump? I cannot even fathom that. And people that I know, all my MAGA friends, everyone I've known that's a Trump supporter, if they're a true Trump supporter, it never stops, okay? It never stops. You never stop supporting Trump. It's just not possible unless you never did support Trump and you were a fake, or they're threatening you with prison and they make you go in front of the January 6th committee and denounce President Trump so you don't go to prison. But other than that, other than threatening people, who is MAGA who all of a sudden one day says, no, not anymore. I've woken up. I've learned. I watched Rachel Maddow and I understand now. Come on. That's not even credible. It's not even credible. But anyway, this is the Revolver News article. And it's a detailed article behind the New York Times desperate puff piece on Ray Epps. Okay? And they have some great video here. Now, the New York Times says that this is out of context, selectively edited. How do you put this in any other context than what it is? This is Ray Epps wearing a Trump hat. Okay? And let's go.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol.
So this is January 5th. January 5th.
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol.
What? Here's somebody say, what? Tim K, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Tim K. Do you hear these Trump supporters? What? They're like, what are you talking about? No. But the New York Times says this is selectively edited and out of context. How do you put this in any other context than what it is?
Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol.
What?
Tomorrow? I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go.
See, now here again, here's more Trump people trying to cool him down and saying this is not what we're all about.
Be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, Boomer.
To the Capitol.
Apologize for the language. They put that in on this video.
Monument Hill.
President is done speaking. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction.
Okay, so how do you put that in any other context other than what it is, right? And then here they have some of the New York Times article here in Revolver News, and they do point out this is the one January 6th rioter that the New York Times has managed to write a puff piece about. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? And then up a winding country road in a trailer park in the Rockies, that what I just read to you. Let's skip straight to the buried lead, writes Revolver News. Here we see a reference to a text message Epps sent to his nephew describing how he orchestrated movements of people to the Capitol after Trump's speech. Mr. Epps also said, now this is from the New York Times here, he regretted sending a text to his nephew. Well, after the violence had erupted, in which he discussed how he helped orchestrate the movements of people who were leaving Trump's speech near the White House by pointing them to the direction of the Capitol. Will his text message soon become a matter of public record? What exactly is Epps' phrasing? Will other Ray Epps communications soon come out that will further clarify the sudden need for aggressive damage control? For clarification, this is a video compilation of Epps orchestrating movements to the Capitol. We wonder how precisely Epps described his decision to do so. Now, again, this is what the New York Times said is selectively edited and out of context.
Wow, it's full all the way to the Washington Monument Hill.
Okay, and now you can hear him in the background.
Stop speaking. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction.
He's even pointing them that way. How is this out of context? How is this out of context? It's not. There's no other context to put it into.
As soon as President Trump is finished speaking, we are going to the Capitol. It's that direction. That's where our true problems lie. President Trump is done speaking. We are going to the Capitol. That's where our problems are. Okay, folks, we need your help. As soon as President Trump stops speaking, we are going to the Capitol. The Capitol's in that direction. Let people know. Spread the word.
I mean, that's it. I mean, there's no other context. He said what he said. And, you know, this human interest puff piece they did in the New York Times makes him even look more guilty. Now, I'll tell you, on Inauguration Day, when I went up to Mar-a-Lago and saw President Trump the last few minutes of his first term, there was somebody there acting like Ray Epps among the crowd of MAGA. And he was wearing Trump gear from head to toe, hat, shirt. He even had Trump socks on. And he started talking like Ray Epps, trying to get us to start arguing and fighting with a couple of there were two Biden people across the street. And everyone said, get out of here. This guy's a Fed. Get out of here. We're not about that. Get out of here. And then he walked right away. You know, there's no other context, and never saw him again. There's no other context you can put this in other than what it is. Okay, so let me know in the chat, yes or no? Yes or no? Is Ray Epps a Fed? And by the way, that could include informant. Yes or no? And was he then? It's all the same question, yes or no? Getting back to the New York Times piece, Revolver News writes, it's important to know that the piece contains no denial by Epps of association with military intelligence, DHF, JTTF, or any other cutthroats or intermediaries. We have reference to lies, and Epps wishes that the truth could come out, but he's never denied any of these associations in one bit of video that came out. So, you know, this is, you know, even if he was just mildly involved, this, you know, and wasn't out there ranting like he was, encouraging people to do an illegal thing, which is in itself a crime. What he did is criminal, okay? And there's more. I just shared a little bit of the video. What other reason would the New York Times have to do a piece like this other than to try to save this man because he's working for their side? There is no explanation for this New York Times story other than the conspiracy theories about Ray Epps are correct. I can think of no other reasons. Now, I'd like to ask you all, if you could follow me on Truth Social, that would be awesome. I'm on Truth Social at Real Brian Craig on Truth Social. And these are all the radio stations that I'm on now. 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 95.9 FM, 106.9 FM, 103.1 HD3, and AM 1470. But Real Brian Craig on Truth Social, this photograph right here is a very exciting photograph. I took this photograph. This is, of course, our president in the Beast, and this is on Inauguration Day. This is one of the last photographs taken of President Trump in his first term. This was less than 15 minutes away from the inauguration, and it's a great picture that I happened to just catch by accident because I'm no special photographer or anything, but I was up there vlogging, and I was pretty close too. I zoomed in just a little, not too much. I was pretty close to the Beast, and you know, when the Beast comes by, all the windows are very darkly tinted, very difficult to see in. They got like police tint, except the one where the president sits. And you know, the glass is like this thick, but that window's not tinted. And I remember saying when I saw him come by, I mean, this was a sad day. This was the last 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes left of his first term, right? And President Trump came by, and everyone's sad, everyone's bawling, you know, because, you know, it's the end of the first term. And President Trump comes by, and look at him, smiling ear to ear, you know, showing, don't worry, guys, don't worry. And I called my wife, Kathy, and I sent her this picture. And I said, President Trump, I said, look at this. President Trump just passed by, and he doesn't look like he has a worry in the world. Does he? No. It's and that's a great picture. Yeah. And I'm so lucky to get that. And that's on my True Social. So anyway, follow me on True Social if you don't, at Real Brian Craig. And I heard from my friend UK Neil that True Social is now available in the United Kingdom. So here we are. We're spreading around on True Social. Hey guys, have a great day. Take this video and share it on all of your social media if you don't mind. I would appreciate it. I think this is an important story I covered here that needs to be shared and talked about. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. You'll love my content. I live stream here every weekday morning, live on the radio, taking calls not just from our radio listeners, but viewers that are watching on the live stream on YouTube. That's every weekday morning from 6 until 9 a.m. And do that every day. So, and then I do live streams on the weekends where I sometimes take calls like I did last night right here from my home studio.